Doing our due diligence on those sites. It's time consuming, it's deliberate, it takes a while, and we just need people to be patient. Here's a little view of the golf course right there, and you can see it off in the distance, the Chicago skyline. There's the Wolf Lake Terminal site.
The Bears.
83.
Sag machine.
Hello there. Welcome in and thank you for joining me. As most of you are aware, the Bears saw their first preseason action on Saturday. I went live during this matchup against the Browns, planning to stream only the first half, but the matchup was entertaining, and shout out to the TikTok audience who kept the chat lively, causing me to stay on for the entire game. Before we talk about the game itself, George decided to use the broadcast, paid for by the Bears, as an opportunity to try and sell us further down the highway on their Hammond bluff. The craziest part about all this is that on Thursday, while George was holding his press conference, selling us the same Lost Marsh bullshit that he was selling us back in June, Roger Goodell was apparently meeting with Illinois politicians on a plan to try and keep the Bears in, wait for it, Illinois. The book on the negotiations between the Bears and Illinois is that the Bears have repeatedly refused to engage with Illinois politicians, expecting them to figure it out for them because, hey, we're the Bears. This is punctuated by the fact that on the final day of legislation before summer recess, neither George McCaskey nor Kevin Warren found it important enough to be present, with top PR guy Scott Hagel being the lone representative sent to Springfield. So it would appear that Goodell and the rest of the league have had enough of the Bears stadium fiasco and are stepping in to be the adults in the room. Such a sad moment for a charter franchise. Stay tuned. All right, with the business nonsense out of the way, time to talk some football. Now, of course, it's preseason, and any number of starters were out for both teams, so it's difficult to get excited about your backup defensive end working over a third-string tackle. That being said, let's overreact. With the entire starting offense sitting out, we got a healthy dose of the Bajancy, as well as several skill position players on the back end of this roster. Other than an ugly pick, Bagent looked decent, but was consistently under duress due to the play of left tackles Kieran Amagaji and Jedrick Wills, who were alternating series. Wills, in particular, almost got Bagent killed on a bad sack, and hopefully the other tackles on this roster will be available soon. More on that in a moment. 3 receivers all managed to stand out in Maurice Alexander, Scotty Miller, and Caden Davis.
It is possible, however unlikely,
that 2 of these guys could be kept, but it is more likely that all 3 of these guys are competing for the same spot on this roster. Contribution to special teams will ultimately decide their fate. We also saw several running backs in action, starting with Roschon Johnson. Johnson averaged 4 yards per carry, but still looks just like a replacement level back to me. Britton Brown flashed yet again, scoring a touchdown, as well as, let's say it right because I think we might be saying it more later this season, Salvon Ahmed, who showed some great moves on a screen pass, taking it to the house. Bears will re-sign their lease at Soldier Field before they build anything in Hammond, Indiana. Their one spot they want is Arlington Heights. They own the land there. It's ready to go. I mean, they could basically put a shovel in the ground tomorrow. And holy crap, what a huge play. And that's going to be a touchdown for the Bears. Oh my God. What an excellent play by Salvon Ahmed, who caught a check down and took it to the house. I think talent-wise, Ahmed has the edge. But once again, it's going to come down to special teams play, where Johnson definitely has the advantage. Speaking of special teams, we saw a lot of Josh Blackwell playing defensive back due to all the injuries in the secondary. I had previously stated my worries about him playing nickel, and those worries were only bolstered after watching him play in this defense on Saturday. Tremendous special teams guy. But Kyler Gordon, please
get healthy.
A couple other defensive players had themselves a day. Jamri Chroma had a strip sack of Deshaun Watson, as well as recovering the fumble himself. Watson went back, and when his arm came forward, the ball was not in his hand. Jamri Chroma. He knocked the ball out of Watson's hand and came up with the recovery. And also had another sack of Shadur Sanders in the second half. Hopefully this guy shows out some more in the preseason, because the pass rush needs all the help it can get. Beanie Bishop came up with a couple of picks that were basically thrown right in his breadbasket. Delivering long ball. Way high, gets intercepted, and that is going to be returned back across midfield out to the 40, to the 30, 6-yard line, pushed out of bounds, and that is Beanie Bishop with the interception. And it looks like it's going to be another long, dark season at quarterback for Browns fans. Newly acquired safety Xavier Woods suffered a soft tissue injury during the game. We haven't heard that one yet this year. And Nephi Sewell went down during the game and appeared to be in agony. It was later revealed that he would have a concussion. We also saw rookies Dylan Thieneman, Sam Roush, and Malik Muhammad in action, limited as it was. Muhammad, however, did have a few nice tackles. More to come. On Sunday, the Bears resumed practice, and it was announced that Braxton Jones and Montez Sweat had both returned after they both suffered minor injuries 10 days earlier. And surprising everyone, the Bears have activated Ozzie Trapillo off the PUP list. Trapillo tore a patellar tendon in the wildcard game against Green Bay back in January, and the consensus opinion was that he would basically not be ready to go until 2027, if ever, with the type of injury suffered. Yet here he is, way ahead of schedule and working out at camp. His timeline for return to action is still a big question, but I imagine that literally no one thought he would be this far ahead in his rehab. No update on Kyler Gordon, but apparently he was spotted in the locker room this weekend.
I did see Kyler Gordon in the locker room on Saturday. I said hello to him, and I said, hey, all this stuff going on with the, communication and all that, and he just said no comment. And then I did ask him, and this is not on mic, but
Right.
he told me I could share this. I said, will you eventually have something to say? And he said yes. So how's that for a report?
And it was reported that Grady Jarrett got tangled up with Kyle Monungai at practice on Sunday, injuring one of Monungai's knees. Monungai did walk off under his own power, but we are still awaiting MRI results. While editing, it was reported that Kyle Monungai will be out several weeks with a hyperextended knee. And lastly, the Bears are said to have inquired about Tampa Bay Buccaneers defensive tackle Vita Vea, who has requested a trade. While you should always make the call, I would be wary about giving anything up for the 32-year-old, who not only wants out of town, but is also looking for a market-level deal. We've already mentioned several times on this channel how tight the Bears are for cap space, so like Max Crosby and anybody else that the Bears have been linked to, it's going to be tough given the money being spent on injured players currently. And that is it. That is all the updates I have for you through today, Monday, August 17th. I will certainly be going live again this weekend when the Bears take on the Bengals out in Cincinnati on Saturday. We had some kinks in the live stream this past weekend, but hey, that's why we're here in the preseason, to get them all ironed out before week 1. I will be on just before the kick at 6 p.m., and we'll see once again if I do a half a game or the entire game. TikTok kept it lively and kept me going. You YouTubers, you got a little work to do. In any case, thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I'm Joby Wan, and until next time, bear down.